Okay, Brian, Anthony over at Lee Johnson Nissan of Kirkland, and we're going to do a video kind of pointing out all the little things that I can find. Um, Before I get started, uh, slight tangent. So, my wife has had me building these like slatted uh, planters. So, like, bunch of pieces of wood, horizontal, spaced evenly all the way down. And no matter how good I measure, the wood that we're using is, got a little warp here or there, and sometimes you start to get things a little bit off, or like, when we did the staining, there was a couple of little spots where they were like imperfect, and we were looking at this planter, and we were like, oh, look at how horrible this planter looks. It's so terrible. And then because we're right there, right up on it, scrutinizing every little thing. So the reason I'm telling you this is, we let a few days go by, we put a plan in it, we looked at it from the normal distance we'd be looking at it, and it looks really good. It's not perfect if I'm scrutinizing every little thing, but it looks really good. And this is what I'm going to say about the Altima. Black car, looks really good in general, but there are some little things, and I think a good amount of what I'm going to point out is going to be stuff that probably with a good buff and wax and stuff like that, a lot of this little stuff can go away. There's nothing that I saw on the vehicle that I would consider significant, but everybody's definition of that is a little bit different. It's like, well, I'm looking for a cheap car. Well, what does that mean to you? Because that's not a number, right? So I'm going to start pointing this stuff out. Just the word of caution, I'm going to make this car look worse than it is. And the good news is it's really dusty because we've got all this construction across the street. They're building high-rise apartments over here. So it's super dusty, and you'll be able to see the spots that I looked at. So there's a scratch right there on the hood. My nail doesn't really go in it a whole lot, so this could be something that could buff out, but that's there, and it's about that length, if you can see. Nice. It's getting a little bit clouds, so that's kind of making it easier to see stuff when you get like the sun spots on it. And then like down low, I don't really see much, which was kind of surprising when I was looking. I know this is probably a super weird camera angle, but there's like small little things again. I think that's gonna be some of what you're gonna get just with a black car, but I'm gonna start pointing out more stuff rather than looking. Okay, you can see here, this is another one of those fine, like that's just gonna buff right out. Another one there. That's probably gonna buff right out. A little bit more. Probably gonna buff right out. I don't know why they didn't just buff the car, but maybe they just figured we'll leave it be. That won't buff out though, right there. That's not gonna buff out. That's a chip taken out of it. Probably mostly gonna buff out, but there's a little bit of it's catching a little bit, so I might not go all the way away. But I mean, again, black car, and we've looked at almost half of it already. The most significant thing I found on the car, and I'm hoping I can get this to show up on camera. Wow, I'm just getting reflection. Darn. Wow, I was really hoping that would, it just was reflecting. Okay, I don't know if you're gonna be able to see it, but it looks like somebody, darn. I don't know if somebody had like letters on here, because that's kind of what it looks like to me. And they just there's indentions on the paint, plus there's this little chip here. But it looks like they removed them and maybe you can see a little bit of that there. That was the most significant thing, and there's so much reflection you're getting from the other vehicle that I don't know if that's showing up. But that is there, and it's maybe like this much. So this is probably about 6 inches long. Anyway, that's that. You really have to be one of those people who's looking pretty hard, but you can just notice the like outline of letters there. A little something there. This scratch probably from somebody pulling something out of the trunk here. Probably another one of those. Could look a lot better. Somebody buffed it. Okay, there's one right here. There it is. There's some stuff on the trunk lid. So you can kind of see right here. There's not a whole lot else to talk about. I kind of went down the side of the car on the driver's side, and there was less than I'm seeing over here. But that's mostly what you're getting. Inside, kind of a similar story. I was a little bit surprised about how clean everything looked. I'm just going to kind of scan through. Because, you know, our detailer's doing an okay job. But they're not that good. But I didn't really see like any scratches or gashes or anything on the dash. Even the buttons look pretty darn clean, all like in the HVAC and touch screens and all that. Even this down here, which like piano black. Okay, this just shows a little bit of wear, but it's not as bad as some of the piano black that I see in some cars. Middle console, that's looking pretty good. A little bit of wear from just people getting in out of this seat bolster. You can see that, but not much. All right. That's kind of the gist of what you're going to find. Is there going to be one or two more scratches that I didn't find? Probably. That's mostly it. And they're going to be, if I miss something, it's going to be comparable to the stuff I've shown you. Nothing crazy. No big dents, stings, or anything like that I saw. So I'm going to send this over. This was a long video, but hopefully you find it helpful.